I'm wondering why. Start to learn to let go of things that simply weren't important. And now my to-do lists are just not as overwhelming because I've learned that. But it's kind of like a tug and pull. One of my directors for another job I have has been helping me with my music, and he's talking about how music is like tension and release. And essentially that's like what life is about too. Like you have these moments where you're pulled back and then you're pulled forward, and some moments where you feel like you're just like riding the wave, and other ones where you feel like you're fighting it. And I don't know where I'm going with that at all. But I think what I'm trying to say is that like that's like what the healing journey is like. Like it's not, sometimes I talk about it and it sounds kind of easy. Like I was telling my roommate about some stuff I did, and it simply has not been easy at all. But it's like that choosing your hard thing of like, am I going to choose to stay in the same spot, or am I going to choose to try and take a step forward and move forward and learn and grow? And with that are going to be a million different challenges. So if you're new to the healing journey and you're here with me every week, I just hope that at least tuning in with me every week will make it easier. I'm going to come back in a few minutes and I'll talk to you a little more, and then I'm going to sing you a song.
Hello, everyone. This is Joseph Skoda with Social Media Shows. Well, I thank all of you for your support through these last several years, and it's been a lot of fun. We've given people a voice they never had before. Now, Social Media Shows is always collaborating with our veterans to help them do things and help out the veterans who are struggling today. And we teamed up with GI Connections, connecting veterans with resources. So please consider helping and donating to this great cause, because we're always doing things for veterans. So GI Connections, Social Media Shows, and you is what makes the world a better place. Once again, Joseph Skoda, proud United States Air Force veteran.
Have you been thinking about having your own TV show and how to publish it? Social Media Shows is what you're looking for. Start your show with our network, and your first month could be free. Inquire now. Email us at admin@socialmediashows.com. We accept applications from around the world.
Welcome back. This is the last segment of this week's Mental Melodies episode. I am your host, Carmynn Bradley. Once again, I'm just so grateful for you being here. Thank you for your eyes, your ears, and your time. I know that time is really, really valuable. So if you're sitting here listening to me week after week, I just really appreciate that. Definitely a lot of my heart and soul, most of my heart and soul is going into this project. I just really believe in the message that this show is portraying. I talk about it like it's separate from me. I don't know that it is, but sometimes it feels, I've talked about this, bigger than me a little bit, but I definitely feel like I'm a messenger for these things. And so I'm just going to kind of recap like what I talked about today, because I did jump over a little bit, like all over the place. So one of the main things I talked about was emotions and how they motivate you. And actually, Maria, my director, brought up a good point during the break that I think is very crucial to this point, which is that you, yes, should be able to identify these, we'll label them as negative emotions, guilt, regret, fear, etc., doubt. But what she mentioned was that it's not about saying, like, this is a bad emotion, therefore I'm not going to follow it. It's partially about using it to your advantage. So if you notice that you're afraid of something and you notice that that fear is stopping you, you can face that fear, right, and figure out how to move forward, or figure out how to like feel it, like I've mentioned today and last week, like notice that feeling and be like, I'm really afraid of it because all of those following thoughts, right? Because it won't work out, because it means this, because that. Take all of those remaining thoughts and just sit with the fear and be like, all right, we're just going to go for it, and kind of like use the energy of that emotion to push yourself forward. And I think you can do that with all of these different things, right? You don't want to be motivated by doubt, but when you do notice that you're doubting yourself, take all of those thoughts that follow it, right? Like, I'm not good enough because XYZ, and cross those out. Like, writing them down is even more valuable. It's about the intention, but if you can physically write down the thoughts that you're having and why you don't think you're good enough and literally cross them out or burn them, this will help to release, again, that energy I was talking about, where you can then step forward. I actually did that exercise for a few months, where every day I would wake up and any of the thoughts I was having, like, just sometimes you just wake up with all this nonsense in your head, and I would write them all down. And if they were ones I wanted to keep for that day, I would keep them, like, in my journal. And if I was noticing a lot of negative thoughts, I would identify what emotions they were, and I would literally burn that paper. And so it's like every day I'm committing to letting go of that energy. So I was talking about specifically guilt for me, but really guilt, doubt, and fear, I think, have been three, like, really big ones for me. I talked about how it wasn't easy. It wasn't like I just said, I'm not going to be motivated by these things anymore, and then voila, I was. It wasn't back in 2020, oh, I'm going to finish all of these things and that will help me finish things later in life. It wasn't. It was a struggle, like, to get up every day. But obviously it was really, really worth it. And you reap what you sow, as they say. So anyway, those are some exercises. I was talking about, like, burning the things every day. So I would wake up every day for months and do that. And it's not the same. It's not the same every day, year after year. It's like you have to kind of reevaluate where you are, you know? So I said, like, if you notice you're somebody who's really motivated by one thing, then focus on that right now, you know? And so that goes back to the other thing I was talking about with, like, healing ADHD and being able to finish projects. I want you to maybe think about, like, what are all the things that you have on your to-do list? Like, what are the million projects you have going on right now, and which one matters more? And that's going to be a deep journey for you to figure out, like, why it matters more or what it means to you. But at the end of the day, like, if you do want to be somebody who completes projects and does what they say they're going to do, then you really do have to focus on one thing and learn all these different various lessons. So, like, for me right now, and focusing on my music, saying no is a lesson I've had to relearn, because that's something I've been through in the past. But like I said, it's always this tug and pull, this tension and release. Like, I can learn to say no for a few months and be really good at it, and then I'm focusing on something else, and eventually I realize I'm kind of slipping back into old habits, and so then I go and have to relearn those lessons and kind of, like, recommit to them. And I think that's something that's coming up today a lot, is just that, like, it really is a commitment, and it can feel, like, really daunting, and it can feel like a lot of work. And so, like I said, if you're kind of, like, on this healing journey with me and you feel like you're starting to move forward, I want to encourage you to take breaks. This whole journey of figuring out how to be aware of your habits and build new habits and become, like, the best version of yourself is a really, really long one. So be open to taking it slow, be open to taking it day by day, and really, like, moment at a time. I mentioned that book, The Power of Now, if you're interested in something to get you really motivated to be in that moment. I just really recommend that one. But if you're noticing that you are, like, not in the moment because you have a lot of depressive thoughts about the past, or anxious thoughts about the future, or those, like, analysis thoughts where you're judging who you are and what you say and all of that, the trick to becoming in the now without reading a whole book about it is to be in your body. So notice how you're feeling, notice where you are, and then go from there. I'm going to shift into the musical portion of today's episode. This is a song I wrote called I'm Wondering Why. And I mentioned it earlier. Am I getting this hat? Yeah, it's about, you'll see. But it's about leaving that relationship and wondering why you stayed so long. And it's just really about kind of that, like, feeling of why. So anyway, here we go. I'm wondering, I'm running it, I'm kicking and screaming and punching the walls. I'm wondering why. I'm wondering, I'm staying in. I know I should have left a long time ago. I'm wondering why. I'm wondering, I'm running in. I'm wondering, I'm screaming in. I'm wondering why I'm staying in. I'm crying in. I'm fighting for you and it's time to go. I'm wondering why. I'm wondering why. I'm wondering why. I'm wondering, I'm leaving and I know I should have left a long time ago. And I'm wondering why. I'm wondering, I'm lost and I think I need to find me again. Me again. I'm wondering, I'm leaving and I'm wondering why. I'm wondering, I'm lost and I'm wondering when will I be fine again. And I'm wondering why. I'm wondering why. I'm wondering, I'm staying in. I know she left a long time ago. I'm wondering why. I'm wondering, I stayed in. I fought for you and it was time to go. I'm wondering why. I'm wondering why. I'm still wondering why. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Maria. I appreciate it. Yeah, so that one's called I'm Wondering Why. Hopefully that'll be out on Spotify soon. I'm really proud of this one. But anyway, if you are listening, like I said, I'm appreciative of you being here. I appreciate your eyes and your ears. Let me give you all these little shout outs. So if you want to sponsor this show and social media shows in general, all the work that Maria puts into all of us and all the work that I'm putting into this show, please email admin@socialmediashows.com. Be sure to follow all of those platforms, Social Media Shows TV is the Instagram, and then follow me as well, Carmynn Bradley on Instagram and Facebook. I do have a little bit of a PSA. Hopefully this is okay. I am a single woman. If you are a TV director or producer and you hit me up on Facebook and you tell me you want me to be in your movies, but all you really want to do is date me, I'm going to give a public service announcement to a blanket no to all of you. Please direct business requests to me, of course, but I am not interested in dating people in hopes that they put me in a movie. Thank you. Please follow my Instagram. I'm going to be working on a website here soon. Just keep watching the show. Keep sharing the show. If you have questions about all the stuff that I'm talking about, you can reach out to me on those platforms or email me also, carmynnbradley@gmail.com. And I will see you next week. Wondering, I'm leaving and I know I should have left a long time ago. And I'm wondering why. I'm wondering, I'm lost and I think I need to find me again. Me again. I'm wondering, I'm leaving and I'm wondering why.